she was Mum's older sister. She was the oldest, and she left. She left. They worked. They were born and brought up around the Glasgow area, and Mary left school as most of them did at that age at 14, and she went working in hotels, and she ended up down in England, and she met a guy called Tom Topless, who was a miner, big, tall, fine-looking guy, and they got married, and they had a family, a big family down there. There was they lived in Ilkeston. There was George and John, the two oldest, and then there was Donald, who was maybe about 4 or 5 years older than me. There was Mary, who was about a year younger than me, and there was one in between. There was Enoch, who was the youngest one. He was a bit younger than us. But George and John, Donald, I said, was a couple of years older than me. That's 3. And there's one other one, Bob. And that was the 4 boys at that age. Then Mary, then Enoch. So there's 6 kids there, I think I've mentioned. And they lived in Derbyshire. And the 2 oldest ones, George and John, were big, fine, strapping guys. Both were boxers in the army. They loved boxing. Donald was smaller, nippier, lovely nature, full of fun, but tough. And he was the best boxer in the family, and he was well up with the amateurs in England. He was an amateur champion in that Ilkeston area around about there. Boxing was big in these days. Amateur boxing was big, and Donald boxed for the army in England when he was doing his national service. And Donald was a good mate of mine. I used to go and play football with him and things like that, because he was about a couple of years older than me. Mary was about a year younger. She was always trying to tag on and play football with us because she was a tomboy as well. But she was lovely. And Mary was eventually won a big award as in these fashion contests, you know, fashion beauty contests. She was. It was all over that area, the Ilkeston Midlands area, and her mother used to have a big photograph of her with the sash that she won on and things like that. So she was the only girl in the family, so they really prized her. They looked after her really well. The boys were her big buddies, her brothers.
Very protective.
Enoch was younger, and Bob was younger, but then it was Mary, and then you came to Donald and George and John. So they're a lovely family, and we were very close to them because the 2 mothers kept in touch.
Yeah.
Even though they were split up, and Mary spent all her time down in England when the mother died. She got jobs down there. She was just the age to go out and get jobs in hotels and things like that. But Mum and Margaret were sent up to Brackra because they were still kids.
Yeah, with Robert.
Robert was sent up to Brackra as well. The other 2, George and John, were old enough. They were in the forces at that time. They were sort of serving in the army. So that's that family that started, you know, sort of basically in the area around Glasgow where they lived. They got split up when the father couldn't look after them. The mother died very young, comparatively young anyway, and so they were split up to go different ways. And of course, Robert, my mum, and Auntie Margaret were sent away up to the Highlands to live with this old lady called Miss Walker. Auntie, we all called her. She had a little croft away up on the banks of Loch Mora. Idyllic little place. She had about, you know, sort of half a dozen cows and maybe a couple of dozen sheep on the hillside, and she had 2 or 3 fairly big fields which she would put into potatoes.
Oh yeah.
Plant the potatoes, and so maybe one or two other things she'd plant that would be growing of vegetable stuff. She had a big vegetable garden, and they were educated. They went to this little school at Brackra. They would be about 5, 6, and 7 when they went up there. No more than that. And they stayed there, and that was their home. Auntie Margaret eventually went to Glasgow to study nursing and became a nurse. My mother went down to Glasgow to be close to her and had a job in a hotel working.
Oh, Grandma actually went to down to Glasgow. I didn't realise that.
Yeah, she went when she was still young, And
but she went back to the Highlands.
Well, she liked the Highlands, and she liked the fact that she had lived in Brackra for quite a few years. And Brackra is just an idyllic little village with just half a dozen families, and she met my dad, of course, at dances, and so after she was down in Glasgow for a while, I think he went down and said, "Why didn't you come back and we'll get married?" So they did. She came back to Moira and worked there in the hotel for a few months, got married, and that was her life with us then. In Mali, 1935, I was born, so she would have been.
So you
probably about her 20s then.
Because of Grandma's connection with her sister in England, you went and spent a fair bit of time with them. Did they ever go up into the Highlands and spend time with you guys?
Yeah, they did. Well, the boys never did, but Mary had a few mates. Always,
Mary Garner.
Yeah, girls, and they were, Mary Garner and my mother were, young Mary and my mother were good buddies, because my mother had gone down and taken us down to Ilkeston 2 or 3 times when we were growing up.
Yeah.
Ronnie and I, and Veronica in particular. Andy and Archie were much younger. But Mum kept touch with Mary, and Mary kept touch with Mum.
So Mary Garner, Mary Topless's daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Mary Topless was, and Tom Topless was still alive when we were growing up. They were alive till we were in manhood. And Mary Garner was just like another sister to us. We had Veronica was a sister. We had 4 boys in the family. But Auntie Mary came up, and when she would come up to Mali to visit Mum during the summer holiday break, used to have the holiday break, and although they were separated at the time the mother died, the father couldn't look after them, so they were taken away from the father after a few weeks because he was so bereft of the fact that he lost his wife. He couldn't look after his family. He was on the booze, and so the orphanage people came and took them away, and that's how they landed up in Brackra.
But you start off saying there that even though that happened, did Grandma and Mary Topless still had a close relationship?
They had a very close relationship with the sisters and Auntie Margaret. Auntie Margaret and Robert and Mum were in Brackra, but Mary by that time was working in the Glasgow area up there where they lived, and she would come up to Brackra and see them every now and again.
Oh, okay.
And they would go down, as they got a wee bit older, they'd go down and see Mary.
Oh, so she came back to Scotland for a wee while before she went back to England. So she came back to Scotland for a while.
Yeah, she was, but I don't think it's very long, because I think she went down to England probably for a better job and better money. Because she spent most of her life in England, and but the bond was very, very strong between Margaret and Mum, because they spent, and Robert, because they spent all these years in Brackra.
Yeah.
Whereas they might see Mary once in a blue moon, Mary had all her work to do. She'd come up like a few times. I can even remember her coming up when we were little kids. They had a big family down in England, and they were unlucky with them. A couple of them died, young boys, big, strong, really good lads, but they got some kind of disease. One of them got them when he was in the Middle East.
Oh, this is John and George, is it?
Yeah. I think it was John Topless. George Douglas. What?
Okay, I'll sign off now because